Hello everyone, welcome to International University of the East Om Meditation Center, Los Angeles. Here we are with the Buddhist Thought and Philosophy BMN 608 course, which is a 4-credit course in the fall semester 2020. My name is Venerable Sumita or Bhante Sumita, and I'm the instructor of this BMN 608 Buddhist Thought and Philosophy course. And as per our syllabus, Buddhist Thought and Philosophy, week 1, we had the introduction, and week 2, we had the origin and development of Buddhist philosophical ideas and systems. And week 3, we had the origin and development of Buddhist philosophical ideas and system part 2. And then we have week 4 today, the origin and development of Buddhist thought in India and beyond, part 1 and part 2. This week and the next week we'll have part 1 and part 2. And then next we'll have the midterm semester, very important landmark of our course. So I want you to still remember and work on this presentation. And if you have any question, please come back to me. And then week 7, week 8, week 9 and 10, and we will discuss later. So as per today's plan, a quick recap. Week 1 assignments, I want to mention this, and week 2 activities, week 3 activities, and a quick self class, week 4 activities, and week 4 assignments. This should be the quick summary of our lesson today. And as for the week 1 assignments, we have quite a few students actually signed up for this program so far. And I'm getting emails from you all the time. So I just want to mention those who join us newly, they are requested, they are recommended to join our Google Drive folder as soon as possible. Let me know, send me your information, email me, and then I can assign you a personal folder. And also I can share with you our shared folder so that you can work. And those people who come late, who join late, are recommended, requested to complete all the assignments. And I think it is, we do have a lot of work to do. So I recommend you join and you complete your assignments on weekly basis as soon as possible. Please do that. And so these are the people who completed our week 1 assignments, and the others are also requested to complete this assignment as soon as possible. And when you do that, please mention week 1 assignment and the assignment type. I will show you the details how you do that, a checklist. I will also share it with you today so that you can easily check in when you are done your assignment. And these are the people who completed their weekly assignment, week 2. And yeah, congratulations for those people who completed this. And for the week 3, these people have completed. And some of you are requested again to mention the details of the assignment. Like, for example, week, you have to mention the week, otherwise it is not organized in your folder. So you have to make week 1 assignments, 1, 2, 3, and then week 1 only 1 assignment, and week 2 we have 2, 3 assignments, and then also we have an optional assignment every week. to attend a guided meditation. If any of you are interested in, you are welcome to do so. That is not required. That is an optional choice. So those who are attending, maybe you will have some advantage later on. Just in case you had some problem, maybe this one can be very helpful. All right, so the assignments for the week 4 of this BMN 608 Buddhist Thought and Philosophy 2024 would be read any of the given articles or books and write at least one page reflection. That is one thing. And then practice the Quizlet class, Fundamentals of Buddhism, link available in the Google Drive. Okay, these are the assignments for the week 4. Read any of the given articles, books, and write at least one page reflection. And if you select any of the books, I will show you later on, and you can select a relevant passage, a paragraph, a chapter, a relevant chapter, and then write at least one page reflection on any of those chapters. If you read an article, it should cover the whole article. Okay, and then watch any of these videos and write a summary. There are two videos here, wonderful videos by Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti. I recommend you watch them and then write a summary. Ashoka and the missions, the spread of Buddhism throughout Asia. And then another video is there. Watch this video and leave a comment or question in the comment section of the video. And just rather than saying thank you or something, I guess if you post a question that is more useful to everyone, and also the other students are also recommended to, you are recommended to respond to each other's questions. Let's make it a little bit academic then. Okay, thank you. Right, and join the guided meditation on every Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific time through Dhamma USA YouTube channel. This is not required, this is optional, but it can be helpful to some of you if you have not completed some other requirements of the course. All right, so with that, we move on to our week 4 class. And I just want to mention that it's important that you join this Quizlet class, join this special class. It will be very useful for all of you, and get the link. I have posted the link in week 2 folder, so you can go have a look at that. And if you have any question, of course, it will not allow you to join the class right away. When you click on the link, and they will send me a notification, and then I have to accept it, and I have to approve it. Then you can work on the Quizlet class, and that will be very useful to all of you. I recommend you do that as soon as possible. All right, and then mid-semester presentation will be coming up soon. in a couple of weeks or so. And so 9 a.m. Through Zoom, or 5 minutes PowerPoint presentation. And any of the topics that we cover would be okay for your presentation. And if some of you are having some working in this time, and you can let me know, we can actually change the timing, or we can schedule a presentation time for you. This is the class time, so I just wanted to use that time for a online presentation. So this is done through Zoom, and RSVP required. I will post the link in the week 6 folder for this RSVP form, so that you can join us soon. And then PowerPoint presentation, you have to make sure that you come prepared, do a good presentation covering any of the topics that you like and you enjoyed during this course. So all the reading materials and many things are available. Books and articles are available in your shared folder, so that you can use them. And if whenever you use something, remember to mention, give credit to the original author, and write down the page number. If you quote something, write down the reference, the details of the writer, if you use any of the information from that particular article or book. That's very important for your academic credential. And then option, there are some people who have some difficulty, or whatever reason, for whatever reason, if you can't do this presentation, online presentation through Zoom, you are having another option. Write a 5-page research paper, and that will be the presentation or option research paper. So the same topic, whatever topic you select, you write a topic. Okay, so with that, I would like to go to the other section of our presentation, and let me go to the show this week through. This is the week 6, and maybe I will quickly show you how it looks like. And this is week 1. If you click on this, you will see the assignments or the reading materials of these assignments are there, reading materials are there, all the things relevant to that particular week. You can see that through these folders. So it's important that you have the access to these folders, and week 6 will be the key for now, as we are going to have mid-semester exam soon. And then we go to week 4. Okay, here's the week 4. And I want to show that we have some items here. I'll show you some items here. And Maps of Buddhist Asia, a wonderful article by Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti. And we do have some, okay, I'll show you right now, this one. This is the article by Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti, and it's really wonderful. I know him personally, and he has he is an American monk right now living in Asia, and very good academic scholar. And so these are the two videos that I recommended you for week 4, one of the assignments. And then when you click on this link, you can go to the video and watch that. And so these are the resources that he used for the maps he's presenting here. And see how it's important that you you give credits to the original authors in academic writings. So here, Sasana Vardhana, the growth of dispensation, the beginning of Buddhism, 6th to and 5th century BC. Buddha lived and taught in a small area of northeast India. So you can see that, and this one can be very useful over here. This is where he was living, the Middle Land or Madhya Pradesh. And Madhya Desha or something it is called those days. And then the birth happened in Lumbini and passing away in Kusinara, and first teaching in Isipatana, and then awakening at Uruvela, Buddha-gaya. So these are all part of this Uttar Pradesh and Gaya, Bihar. In today's states, if you take Uttar Pradesh and Bihar are the two states that the Buddha covered those days. And then in the second map, he's showing us the 5th century and 3rd century BC, the first 3 councils. So these councils are really, really important when we talk about the growth of the dispensation. And so here again, this is the Middle Land, Madhya Desha. And the first Buddhist council happened in Rajagaha. And I will discuss later about those councils. And the second council happened in Vesali, and the third council happened in Patali Gama. And in fact, you can watch his videos to learn more about that too. And also, I have recommended some more books for you. And this is the third map, Ashokan missions, 3rd century BC. The missions are sent to border areas and beyond. Very important again. And how he has, in the 3rd century BC, after the third council, King Ashoka has sent missionaries to 9 countries. One, Himalaya, and then here, Kashmir and Gandhara, and then Yona Desa, this is like Middle East, and Aparanta Desa, also Far East, and then Far West actually. And Maharashtra, it can possibly be the Maharashtra today. You can double check with that. And this is Vanavasi, another area. And then Mahisa Mandala, it's another place that he sent missionaries. So in and out of India, and these are actually out of India. And over here, Sri Lanka, again out of India, he sent his own son and daughter to this country. And then Ashoka's capital over here, Pataliputra. And from here, he also sent to Suvarnabhumi, another across ocean, 2 countries he sent across ocean, that is Sri Lanka and Suvarnabhumi. This could probably be the modern day Thailand. So these are the countries that he sent missionaries and Buddhist missionaries. Thanks to that Buddhist missionaries, Buddhism spread it all throughout the world. We will discuss more later on. And then 4th Buddhist Council, and there were 2 councils actually parallelly happened. The Theravada tradition, Aloka Vihara, 1st century BC. 1st century BC, okay. Remember, it happened in Sri Lanka. And then Sarvastivada council also happened in Kashmir, again 1st century AD. Over here, you can see Srinagar and Jammu, Amritsar and Jalandhar. These are modern-day Punjab places, and this is Jammu and Kashmir, um, high mountains in India. And so this is the Sri Lanka map, and this is where the India, the Buddha was somewhere here, and King Ashoka was ruling this entire huge territory, and then he also had good relationships with his neighboring country, Sri Lanka. And then Anuradhapura was the ancient capital, first ancient capital, and then the second one was Polonnaruwa, and Anuradhapura was the center of capital city. As the capital city, the kings were ruling up to 1,000 plus years uh, in the country, in the Anuradhapura city, and then they moved to Polonnaruwa due to many reasons. And Aloka Vihara in Dambulla, somewhere in between Dambulla and Kandy. So this is called actually Matale district. So in Matale, Aloka Vihara was the center stage where the fourth council took place. The monks, they got together and they wrote the entire Pali Tipitaka in ola leaves, palm leaves, and then they buried in the earth. So that was the safest place on earth to to save something. So they buried the entire Pali Tipitaka there as a treasure. So that happened in 1st century BC. And then emergence of the Mahayana, again, it's very important when we talk about the spread of Buddhism. And emergence of Mahayana from 1st century to 5th century AD in different parts of India. So then here we have Lotus Sutta, Gandhara, and Yogacara writings. Nalanda University is very important place of center of study. And even today we can see the ruins. And Vikramashila is another very famous school. And Gandhara also is very famous for art. Gandhara art, amazingly powerful Buddhist art. Nagarjuna Konda, if you go to, it's in modern day Andhra Pradesh, you have to take a ferry to go there, maybe half an hour something. I had the opportunity to visit this place in Nagarjuna Konda, and whenever there was a very powerful Mahayana teacher called Nagarjuna, and also there is I found there was a Sri Lankan temple, like very ancient Sri Lankan temple. It is said Sri Lankan temple, or somehow Lanka Rama or something was there. So it seems there were Sri Lankan monks in that temple again. And so Madhyamika writings happened here. And see, the connection between these points were very important with regard to Mahayana Buddhism. And in Sri Lanka, we had a very strong Mahayana centers. Mahayana connection was also very strong. And even today, if we go to Anuradhapura, there are places like Abhayagiri and Jetavana. They are very big monastic institutes, and we can see, when you see the ruins, the archaeological sites, they are really big institutes. Thousands of monks have been living there in Jetavana and Adayagiri alone. When it was very close to, like just few minutes away from my university that I was working in Sri Lanka. So I frequently visited those places, and I was surprised to see the number of monks who stayed there, and even the it's like a swimming pool. It's really very big one, 5 times bigger than the Olympic swimming pool. And this is about way earlier, like 5th century something, very early. We can see these things in Sri Lanka. And then the other map, Venerable Ananda Jyoti, he also explains about the Buddhism reaches Southeast Asia from South India. This is 5th century AD. Very important again. A mixture of Mahayana and Hinduism that still survives in Bali, Indonesia, for example. And even in Thailand, we have like a lot of uh, Hindu cult. Even in Sri Lanka, we do have Hindu cult. So Nalanda and Vikramashila, these are the universities that we mentioned, and Nagarjunakonda. And you can see how these things actually went through maritime routes. So maritime trades also actually played a very crucial role in spreading the Buddhism. Last time I did a course with Dr. Lancaster, Dr. William Lancaster, one of the foremost Buddhist scholars in the world regarding maritime Buddhism. And we had a wonderful research. I had a research paper with him, and he continues to work on his global map of Buddhism. And he works on maritime Buddhism. He calls it maritime Buddhism because Buddhism went spread it to many different countries in the world very easily through maritime activities. So those people who actually sail to different countries, they also use these maritime routes. And when they went for their businesses and when they lived in some places for months and months, so they also needed some religion. So it was part of it. Even today, we can see, for example, in USA, those Asian immigrants, those immigrants actually came along with the religion. That's why we can see all kinds of religions, Buddhism. Let's say for Buddhism, for example, we do have Buddhism, all schools of Buddhism here. It's really amazing. In the United States of America, we can see united Buddhist schools everywhere, and thousands of Buddhist temples are there because millions of Asian community are living here in this wonderful country. So uh, here you can see how they reach out to different countries. This is Malaya, means Malaysia. This is Khmer, Cambodia, and then Sumatra. This is Java, Indonesia. You see Bali. How Buddhism has spread it to different countries, and we can also see some Hindu influence there. Buddhism reaches China, first century AD, very early again, after like 600 or 700 years of Buddhism, introduction to Buddhism. Buddhism found some en route to mainland China. So traveling along the Silk Road and that ran from Rome to Chang'an. So you can see this again. This is the Pataliputra, this is the Gandhara, and this is the Silk Road. Silk Road is really a very difficult, um, very lengthy desert routes, and it's it's amazing to imagine how those travelers without much uh, comfort of facilities, the transport mode was very, very difficult. Even like traveling thousands and thousands of miles from over here to here, Chang'an, it's not so easy. It takes maybe days and weeks and months. And so some people who went from here to here, India to China, they wanted to go, but some of them never uh, they were never able to reach their destination. And some from both countries actually, they wanted to come, and some of them could not make it. Some of them never able to come back. It's really a very tough journey, and you need some supplies when you travel. So you need lot of things to go carry with you, and it's not so easy when you do that in that staunch heat and the desert storms and also very unfriendly weather conditions. It was always challenging, but still, those daring, adventurous Buddhist travelers or maritime traders or Buddhist travelers, Buddhist monks actually, they also went. Many Buddhist monks are there who have traveled back and forth from India to China. Some Indian monks went to China, some Chinese monks went to India. So it all happened somehow because they had a wonderful intention to learn the Dhamma and also share the Dhamma with each other. So you can see this is the Middle East area. So how these maritime routes took place over here, and this is the India, South India, and then this is Sri Lanka. So in between, they could go, and actually there is an international shipping line over here, Sri Lanka, and even today. And so they went to these the Southeast Asian countries and Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then South Korea and Japan. These are all Buddhist countries. We have those countries influenced by Buddhism, and then mainland China, and also Tibet over here. So this is the very very wonderful map, and we can get some idea how the maritime trade happened. So this is really important when they traveled, and we can see some of the items from let's say like this is the ancient Rome, okay, and how we can see some of these things in Chang'an or some other places in China, because we can see some coins, some coins from this area in here, and then also we can see some of the materials like glassware or something that are more popularly found here. And now we can see here also same thing, the Chinese silk or Chinese material, some all those coins and other things, ancient ruins we can find in these countries. So that means they have had some long-term trading activities, commercial activity. That is why it's very important. And then Buddhism reaches to Vietnam, 2nd century AD, spreading from the capital of China, Chang'an. This happens through the Silk Route again. Actually, it happened through China first, and you can see again this. This is the route that Buddhism went to Vietnam from and this can possibly be through any of the, this is land route if you want, and this is the sea route if you want. So we can see how it has happened, and Buddhism has all through all these maritime routes. Buddhism also went to different parts of the world, and this is Buddhism reaches Korea, 4th century AD, spreading from central China again. So China's influence on Buddhism is really very, very important. And this is again from here to here, South Korea. And we can see here Buddhism went to Vietnam in the 2nd century, and Buddhism went to South Korea in the 4th century. And from there, Buddhism went to Japan. From Korea to Japan, you can see here, Japan-Korea War was also there. But this gift of Dhamma from Korea to Japan was groundbreaking, very important, how they shared their Dhamma with each other, and how they also flourished in Buddhist influence in these countries. These are mainly Mahayana teachings, but they are very important centers of Buddhism, schools of Buddhism today. And Bodhidharma's route from India to China, 5th century and 6th century AD, going along the maritime Silk Road and taking Chang and Pure Lang teachings, and Northern Wei and Southern Chi, and you can see how Venerable Bodhidharma from here, if he went, maybe possible, he must have come here first and maybe stayed there, or maybe stop here or cross here, and it could have happened through this, or from here also it could happen. So it depends on how the maritime traders took their shipping route. And so Venerable Bodhidharma arrival in China, very important again for the spread of Buddhism there. And in the areas influenced by Buddhist civilization during the early Middle Ages, you can see India, and then Kashmir and Gandhara, and we can see Sri Lanka, and we can see Tibet, Nepal, and Central Asian states. We can see Mongolia, again, very important. Mongolia and Tibet are mainly Vajrayana or Buddhist countries. Of course, they are also part of Mahayana. So Nepal, Pew, Mon, these are also Thai and Myanmar, and Khmer, this is Cambodia, and Lanka, Sukha, this is Indonesia. Sri Vijaya, very famous kingdom. Sri Vijaya's time was very important for Buddhism. And then Java, again Indonesia, these are Java. And so Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, and also these, so all these Southeast Asian countries have been influenced by Buddhism. This is mainland China, this is South Korea, and this is Japan. So Indian Buddhist art schools, very, very important again. Schools of Buddhist art, very useful. And Kumbhara and Didarganj, Kumbhara and Didarganj, and Barabar, and Ashokan pillars, and Ashokan rock edits are available here. These are the rock pillars. So many Ashokan pillars with the Brahmi script, many messages. For example, in Lumbini, if you go, there is an Ashokan pillar saying, Hither Buddha Jate Sakyamuni, Buddha Shakyamuni Buddha was born here. And if you go to Vaishali, if you go to Pataliputra, and in many parts of India, you can see those ancient um, Ashokan pillars with this different. Some of them are actually with the lion on the top, and some of them are dilapidated, but some are really perfectly fine. So these are the Ashokan pillars, and Ashokan rock edits are also very important, especially in the ancient past. When we talk about the history, um, the rock edicts or the inscriptions are really valid documents for us to learn the history. And this is South India. And so they have been very important again for learning about the Buddhist art. There have been Gandhara and Mathura style of Buddhist schools too. Gandhara style is basically from this middle, Middle Eastern countries, so like Greek, Rome, those styles are there. You can see those statues, even with the Buddha statues with the Gandhara style. Very fine, very beautiful. And in Mathura style, it's another different style, but they are very powerful, famous Buddhist schools those days. So, Venerable Ananda Jyoti's final remark. With that, I would like to conclude this one. The remains from the Mauryan period are very, very few. They consist mainly of the Ashokan rock edicts and the pillars, which are normally inscribed and surmounted by lions, elephants, or bulls. Only a small selection of them are shown here. In Kumraha, on the edge of modern-day Patna, are old architectural remains of the ancient city walls, and from Didarganj, on the banks on the Ganges, a splendid human-sized Yakshini modeled in the round and highly polished has been found. The excavated rock caves at Barbar, although later inhabited by Buddhists, were carved out for the Ajivaka sect, but their main importance lies in the fact that they provided the models for the great rock caves complexes at Ajanta, Ellora, and elsewhere in the coming centuries. So I had the good fortune to be there in India. I studied in India. I studied there like 10 years. So I had the opportunity to visit many parts of these wonderful Buddhist sites in all over India. So that was very enriching experience for me. Okay, these are the Buddhist councils. Just the summary of the Buddhist council. I would like to give you a summary only here through this simple article. So the first Buddhist council happened in the immediately after the Buddha's passing away, 3 months after that, and then King Ajatasattu was the royal patron, and then Venerable Mahakassapa was the chairperson, or he presided the first Buddhist council, and it was held in 483 BC, just after this demise. And the monk who presided over the first council was Mahakassapa, and they preserved the Buddha's teachings. Venerable Ananda composed the Sutta Pitaka. He learned the most of the bulk of the Dhamma teachings of the Buddha, because he was the attendant of the Buddha for a long, long years period of time. And then Venerable Upali was the also an important figure. He took care of the Vinaya, Pitaka, and so those things, the 500 monks got together at Sattapanni cave, and then they were talking about or finalizing the original teaching. So this is, they decided together, they discuss unanimously, they discuss and agreed on these are the Buddha's teachings. And then in the second Buddhist council, it happened in 383 BC, and more details you can see in the sources that I have shared in the Google Drive. I will share it that also. And conducted under the patronage of King Kalasoka. And this happened at Vaishali, and in Pali it is called Vesali. And there was a dispute actually between two factions, two sections of the Sangha. And so, especially with the Vinaya, and then they split. So schism of monks happened, and then Theravada and Mahayana schools took place, and they wanted to preserve the teaching of the Buddha in the original spirit, the Theravada school. And then the group called Mahasangika, the greater community, interpreted the Buddha's teachings more liberally. And so that's how they split apart. And then third Buddhist council, also so important, very, very important in the history of Buddhism. They conducted under the patronage of Emperor Ashoka of Mauryan dynasty. It was held in 250 50 BC at Pataliputra. And I should have, okay, I think it's more clear now. Okay, let me go to the beginning. Okay, the first Buddhist council took place in, so the first Buddhist council took place under the patronage of King Ajatasattu of Haryanka dynasty. It was held in 483 BC, just after the Buddha's demise, 3 months after the Buddha's demise actually. And it was held at Sattapanni caves in Rajagaha. 500 monks were there. So that is also called Pancha Satika, because there were 500 monks. And this included the Venerable Mahakassapa as the chairperson. He was the senior most and most respectable monk in the dispensation, the Sasana those days. And Venerable Ananda, the personal attendant of the Buddha, very important figure again, who took care of the most bulk of the Dhamma. He learned them by heart and he shared them with this council. And then Venerable Upali was there. He was also taking care of the Vinaya. And so these two monks plus Venerable Anuruddha was there, foremost among the divine eyes, and there were quite a good number of wonderful Arahanta monks who gathered here, assembled here, and finalized to ward off any confusion in the Buddha's in the Buddha's teaching here. So they decided to convene the first Buddhist council. And at this very important Buddhist council, Venerable Ananda was appointed in charge along with his disciples to take care of the Diga Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka. And then Venerable Sariputta already passed away. Venerable Sariputta's disciples were assigned to take care of the Majjhima Nikaya suttas, and then Venerable Mahakassapa, the president of this, or the chairperson of this important Buddhist council, he and his disciples were assigned to take care of the Samyutta Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka, and Venerable Anuruddha and his disciples were assigned to take care of the Anguttara Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka, and the rest of the monks were assigned to take care of the Khuddaka Nikaya, and Venerable Upali was assigned to take care of the Vinaya Pitaka. So that's how it took place. Abhidhamma Pitaka was not finalized by this time anyway. And in the second Buddhist council, you can see it was conducted by Kalasoka, King Kalasoka of Sisunaga dynasty. It was held in 383 BC, 100 years after the Buddha's passing away. It was held at Vesali or Vaishali in modern Tristil. And also there is a Ashokan pillar. Sabakami Yasa was the monk who presided over the council. And it happened because there were 10 disputed points called with the Vajjiputtaka monks about the Vinaya Pitaka, the code of conduct. And first major split happened after that because many monks tried to change the teachings of the Buddha, especially the Vinaya part. So two groups that would later evolve into Theravada and Mahayana. This is the very beginning, we can say. So after 100 years, already the Buddhist Sangha was split. There was a schism among them. The first Buddhist group was called Thera, or they are called Theravada. And they wanted to preserve the teachings of the Buddha in the original spirit. Even here in the first Buddhist council, Venerable Mahakassapa said, we should not change anything, even though the Buddha allowed us to change some minor precepts. But if we keep changing, we never know where we would end. So he and all the monks unanimously decided not to change any of the precepts. But change, impermanence is already part of the teachings of the Buddha itself. So it was still there. There were changes, especially when it comes to different parts of the world, like weather conditions, geographical conditions. So it's difficult to stick to those original Vinaya rules. And therefore, the schism happened, split between the two groups. The first group was called Thera. They wanted to preserve the original teaching. The other group called Mahasanghika, the greater community, and they interpreted the Buddha's teachings a little more liberally. In the third Buddhist council, we can see it was again very, very important in the history of Buddhism. And it was conducted by, under the patronage of Emperor Ashoka of Maurya dynasty. It was held in 250 BC, 250 BC at Pataliputra in modern day Uttar Pradesh, and somewhere close to Varanasi, I think. The council was presided by Venerable Moggali Puttatissa. Again, this council is very important. The first Buddhist council had 500 monks, and the second one, it was called Pancha Satika. And the second Buddhist council had 700 monks. It was called Satta Satika, 700. And here, Venerable Moggali Puttatissa, also very important, he wrote a book and to complete the Abhidhamma Pitaka. So in this council, actually the Abhidhamma Pitaka was also composed and it was completed. And Again, the main objective was to purify Buddhism from opportunistic factions and corruption in the Sangha. There were a lot of corruptions. People who joined the Sangha not necessarily um, ardently following Buddhist teachings, but they just entered because it was a very easy way to live, or due to some other reasons they joined. So they tried to change. They didn't want to follow the Vinaya rules, the code of conduct. Even they wanted to change the teachings. So it was high time that when it came to a point that it was like almost very difficult, and King Ashoka and Venerable Mogali Putatissa uh, and some other senior monks decided to convene a Buddhist council. And then this is also very important this time, because they sent missionaries. King Ashoka sent missionaries to 9 destinations, as I mentioned in the map before. And then Buddhism preached by Emperor Ashoka was Hinayana or Theravada. Hinayana, Mahayana, sometimes like when you say Hinayana, it's like the little or the lower vessel or lesser vessel. Maybe sometimes it's a kind of a derogatory term. So mostly they also use Theravada. Theravada is the elders' teaching. So whatever is Theravada or Mahayana or Hinayana, Theravada or Hinayana is generally the same thing. But there are, of course, if you go into details, there are some differences, little differences. And then the Fourth Buddhist Council, conducted under the patronage of King Kanishka. This is again in Kashmir. This is Mahayana Buddhist Council. Vasumitra and Ashwaghosa, very powerful monks, very important monks. All deliberations were conducted in Sanskrit, okay, first time here, and the others were conducted in Pali. And here the Abhidhamma texts were translated from Prakrit to Sanskrit. So it's really important again, this Fourth Buddhist Council. And parallelly, another Buddhist council happened in Sri Lanka. Actually, it's even before this. So first century, yeah, this somewhere here. We discuss about that in the map. Okay, and right, and then we go to the other part. You can also have a look at this Mahayana and Theravada spread. And with this color, we can see the Theravada countries, Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and so all these countries, South and Southeast Asian countries, they are predominantly Theravada or Hinayana or the early Buddhist school. And then this is Tibet and Mongolia, actually, they were Vajrayana, what we call, and the rest of them, actually. Vietnam, China, and Korea and Japan, very huge territory that was influenced by Mahayana Buddhism. So the teaching of Theravada in the Buddhist countries like South Asia, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, Burma, Thailand, they have principles of the Theravada school, and so they are also following the teachings of the Buddha. They amazingly all these countries, they follow the Orthodox school of Buddhism, and also they follow almost 100% same. Very minor differences are there, although they were very like geographically located in many different places. but even from the very ancient past, they survived with Buddhism. And later on, when we found the Pali texts in them, when we compared, we could see that it was almost identical. It's amazing how they have been preserving with so much care. They didn't want to change anything. And so they also, all of them agree. They use Pali language, and also they also use these main teachings, the middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path, and then this is the Noble Eightfold Path, right view, right resource, right speech, right actions, right occupation, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And then also the other important teachings like the Nibbana and the Arahanta and the Kamma and all the teachings, they um, they 100% agree with each other. And when it comes to Mahayana, the Greater Vehicle, we can see the Mahayana is the more of an umbrella body, and Tantra school, the great secret teaching of yoga, and well represented in Tibet and Nepal to the Pure Land sect, whose essential teaching is that salvation can be attained only through absolute trust in the saving power of Amitabha. So Amitabha Buddha, they always say, Namo Amitabha. When it comes to different countries, they say it in different ways. Amitabha, Amitabha, or Amitapho. I remember the Vietnamese people say Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, say Namo Bonsa Tekyamuni Fat, and that's how they talk about that. But this one is Amitabha, Amitapho. Whenever you meet a Mahayana Buddhist, they would be very happy to greet you with Namo Amitabha. And if you say that in return, they will be also very happy. Namo Amitabha. So, salutation to Amitabha Buddha. Longing to be reborn in his paradise through his grace, which are found in China, Korea, and Japan. These are the three major countries with Mahayana Buddhism. Chan and Zen Buddhism. So it's also related to dhyana or meditation. Dhyana, or Pali, it is Pali jhana and Sanskrit dhyana, and then Chang and Zen when it came to Japan. So we can see the link. And so they also practice meditation. And according to these schools, to look inward and not to look outward is the only way to achieve enlightenment. Now we can see little difference with the way the teachings have taken place, and they are also ideologically also they have changed a little bit. And here in the Theravada school, what they teach as Buddhism, and then Mahayana school, what they teach as Buddhism, are little bit different. So with that, we can also go to some other details. Yogacara school is important in Mahayana Buddhism, and also middle path is there in Mahayana Buddhism. Shunyata is there in Mahayana Buddhism, very important, and many sutras are there, and mostly it is the Sanskrit language that they used for Mahayana Buddhism. Okay, and this is another timeline that we can find in this venturing through beliefs, and here actually different kinds of religions, not only Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, I have also atheism. I have shared the link here if you want to have a look. And also here we can see the chronology of Buddhism, 5th century, 6th century BCE, and in the second stage, 269 to 231. This was India, and also here King Ashoka, and then we can see Sri Lanka for the first time, 269 to 231 BC, and then 100 BCE to 100 CE, rise of Mahayana Buddhism, and 0 to 100 Buddhism enters China very early again. Within the first centuries, Buddhism reached to mainland China. And 100 CE to 150 begin the king of Kanishka, under whom Buddhism spread to Central Asia. King Kanishka was instrumental in promoting Mahayana Buddhism. And then was Zen Patriarch, 520 Bodhidharma, arrives in China, very important, spreads Zen Buddhism all over China. And this is, again, very, very important time. 538 Buddhism enters Japan from Korea. Again, another important landmark. 600 to 700 Vajrayana Buddhism established in Tibet. A little bit late compared to other versions. 1000 to 1300 Theravada Buddhism established in Southeast Asia. So they actually got Buddhism very lately. Mainly it happened to Sri Lanka. And in 1199, Nalanda University, highly revered place of Buddhism, Buddhist education, is destroyed, demise of Buddhism in India. So by the time this 12th century, 13th century, Buddhism started to decline with lot of problems where there are persecution, because they are harassing, embarrassing, and then destroying. Nalanda University was destroyed, and it said like the library itself was burning for months when it was tortured. And then 1200, Zen, Pure Land, and Nichiren Buddhism established in Japan. And then here, 1881, Polytech Society, very, very important again, which okay, over here, 1881, Polytech Society in England. It was founded by Professor Rhys W. Davids. Pali is the language in which Theravada Buddhism is written originally. So what they did actually, they went to all those Theravada Buddhist countries, collected those manuscripts and compared the script, and it's really wonderful contribution to Buddhism through this Pali Text Society, what we call PTS, authentic reference source, if you want to refer to any Buddhist thought. 1893, World Parliament of Religions in Chicago introduced Hinduism to America. And here in this conference, a very famous person from Sri Lanka called Anagarika Dhammapala, he gave a historic speech at this convention. And it was also instrumental in propagating Buddhism here. And he also was very important person in the history, because he fought very hard to reclaim those Buddhist sites from the clutches of Hinduism or dilapidated situations in India. He rescued Buddhism in India in the modern history, and especially Buddha Gaya, Sarnath, and many other Buddhist sites were rescued by this man. And 1956 also is very important celebration of 2,500 years of Buddhism. It was the time that Chatta Sangayana, or the sixth Buddhist council, took place. Sixth Buddhist council. I will show you a photo of the sixth Buddhist council soon. And again, this is another chart of how different Indian Mahayana Buddhist philosophy, schools, and texts. And with that, I would like to share with you, as I mentioned, this one. Okay, you can see here. Okay, let me see if I can. Yeah, so this is actually a small picture, but this is like Chatta Sangayana, the sixth Buddhist council in Myanmar. It took place here, just like a cave in the first Buddhist council, Sattapanni cave, like where 500 monks assembled, but here 2,500 Buddhist followers assembled, and it was really a very wonderful historic occasion. You can see here how all these people from different Buddhist countries, they got together very passionately and very piously, listening to the teaching of the this Buddha's teachings. And this time, actually, what they did, they also started to translate Pali texts into different countries. And this is also a very important, I think I talked about this before, so I don't want to show that. All right, so with that, I also would like to say there are links here for the fourth week. Those links that I used are here. You can check in the Google Drive. And then these are the week 4 assignments, as I mentioned. And so read any of the articles, and I'm going to show you those things a little later now. And follow this. Read any of the articles and books given in the week, and then practice that. And this one is about the actually not the Quizlet. I have already mentioned about the this one, this map. Okay. Let me show you. Links. There is the link. Okay, I have the links over here. Yeah, this one. So what I want you to do is work on these two assignments. Okay, over here. The Ashoka and the mission, this is a link, a video, and the spread of Buddhism throughout Asia. I will change it later, okay? So instead of this, please work on that. And then watch this sutta video, and also you can work on that, and then join the guided meditation. This is optional. And yeah, that's it. And then I also have given the checklist. You can copy this one, this part, and paste it in a different document in your folder, personal folder, and check mark. Just check. When you are done, you just check that. That will be very useful for our record. And yeah, these are the links, right? And with that, maybe this book, 2500 Years of Buddhism, very, very important for us to learn. 2500 Years of Buddhism is a book by P.V. Bapat, very good book. And here I'll show you. You can read this one and find, you can do a reflection on any of these chapters that I recommend. Over here, this is, okay, over here. You can see these councils. You are welcome to read any of these articles, these chapters. India and Buddhism, origin of Buddhism, life and teaching, and I recommend you work on this. First Buddhist Council, second Buddhist Council, third Buddhist Council, fourth Buddhist Council, and that will be very useful. And also here, Ashoka and the expansion of Buddhism, Ashoka, expansion of Buddhism in India, in northern countries, Central Asia and China, Korea and Japan, Tibet, Ladakh and Mongolia, and Nepal, in southern countries, Ceylon, Burma. Ceylon means Sri Lanka. Burma is Myanmar, the Malay Peninsula, Malaysia, and Siam, Thailand, Kamboja, Cambodia, Champa of Vietnam, and Indonesia. And so these are the principal schools of and sects of Buddhism. We can see this is, we will discuss more about this little later. I want you to read something about this section, okay? Any of these chapters, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can read any of these chapters or even 5. That will be useful, and write a reflection. And then this is the essential teachings of Buddhism, Alan Bombard. We also discussed this last week. And here we also have the teachings of the Buddha. And this one actually, again, the two main schools of Buddhism. This part is important for us for this week and for next week as well. So Theravada Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and all the important teachings are here, main schools of Buddhism. And then Paul Williams' book also can be important here. Buddhist Thought, A Complete Introduction to the Indian Buddhism. And here also we have the doctrinal position of the Buddha in context, mainstream Buddhism, the basic thought of the Buddha, nature of the and nature and origin of Mahayana Buddhism. This is important for people who are interested in Mahayana Buddhism, some schools of mainstream Buddhist thought. And we can discuss this one for this week. You can also read any of these articles. And maybe we can also go to the next week to discuss more about Theravada Mahayana discussion. And then we have early India, the penguin history of early India from the origin to 1300. This is Romila Thapa, the modern day scholar. And here we can see the perceptions of the past, landscapes and people towards chiefdoms and kingdoms, states and cities, emergence of empire, Mauryan India, this is Ashoka period. The rise of mercantile community, also you can see when you talk about the maritime trade, politics and trade. This will be useful for maritime trade activities. And yeah, some of these this content can also be useful to you. Okay, and then early Mahayana Buddhism, there is an article here. Here in this article, let me, early Mahayana Buddhism occupied the period from Buddha's parinirvana to the 1st century CE. For 5 centuries, Mahayana sutras were developed gradually and disseminated orally. After the Buddha and his disciples passed away, there were two opposing views regarding Buddha Vachana, or the words spoken by the Buddha. The first view stated that Buddha Vachana ended after the first Buddhist council, and the second held the view that Buddha Vachana continued. Mahayana Buddhism supports the latter view since its doctrines in the form of sutras were written long after the council, and new interpretations of its teaching were revealed at a later date. So here Buddhism, Buddhist councils, Mahayana Buddha Vachana Sutra, and Bodhisattva ideas are explained by Mahendra Dutt Jayadi. Yeah, these again are the things that I already discussed with you. Okay, so I think with that I would like to almost conclude, and maybe I will show you this one. This is how I'm going to work on you. I have the other sheet with the marks, the checks. So I have quite a few students actually signed up for this. So I recommend you also do you mark like here, you check your um, class here. That will be useful. All right. So with that, this is the Sutta study video that I am sharing for today's week. So with that, I would like to conclude, and let me go to the slide and conclude for today's lesson. And thank you for joining us today again, and hope you learned something, and hope you can continue and enjoy this course. And feedback, we appreciate your valuable feedback to help improve our future lessons. And thank you, and stay in touch. Okay, this is my email address, and also the phone numbers. That's it for today. See you again. May all beings be well and happy and healthy. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.